Hey, it's Ed Burns. Check out Public Morals, my new show about New York City cops in the 1960s and the vices they managed. Tuesday, August 25th at 10/9 Central, only on TNT.
We're coming to you from the DraftKings.com podcasting studios. DraftKings.com, America's one-day fantasy sports site, where it's like a new season every time you play. DraftKings.com.
Now, the right time with Bomani Jones on ESPN Radio.
And ESPNRadio.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the right time. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening on ESPN Radio and the new ESPN app. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. You can send me a tweet at the 1-800-Flowers.com Twitter feed that is at Bomani_Jones. And thank you for listening to me here at 9:02 Eastern Time, as opposed to sitting around and watching counterfeit football. Really, y'all gonna let that pass as football? Is that what y'all are going to do? We talked about this before, man. I recognize y'all are thirsty for football. Y'all will take anything that looks anything like football. I get that. I understand that. But can you at least act like the right way about it? Johnny Football had a touchdown run, a 12-yard run. I keep looking at a GIF of it because let me tell you something about preseason football. If it doesn't fit in a GIF, I don't need to see it. Like, nothing that happens in a preseason game, if you cannot fit it into a small internet looping video, then clearly it's not that important. All right? That's all we can get out of a preseason game. But Johnny Football took a 12-yard run. He dropped back. The pocket collapsed around him. He went straight up the middle. Nobody was there. He cut to the left, untouched, into the end zone. There is no money dance anymore because, rehab. And, he good for him. Shannon, can you imagine working the phone lines at a Cleveland talk radio station tomorrow talking about Johnny Manziel?
I guess we'll be seeing Cleveland in Santa Clara in the Super Bowl, huh?
Just maybe. Everybody going to the Super Bowl after they win tonight. Everybody's going to the Super Bowl after they win tonight. Here's the thing, though. The games don't count. Nothing that happens really counts. Well, Shannon, is that true that nothing counts?
The injuries count.
Yeah, Niles Paul, dislocated ankle. Out for the season, Shannon?
It looks that way, dislocated ankle. That
yeah, well, Robert Griffin had one of those last year, and he wasn't out for the season. He probably would have been better off if he was, but he was not out for the season. Maybe. See, that's the thing. Everything else starts at zero when the season starts, right? All those stats go to zero. The one loss goes to zero. Everything goes to zero except for the injuries. You could have 8 touchdown passes in a preseason game, and it doesn't mean nothing on week 1. But you mess around and tear your ACL, you don't get to come at the beginning of the year talk about, oh, no, that one doesn't count. Let me get that brand new knee. Everything reset, baby. Everything resets. Like, I feel like this. Every time I say that the football isn't dangerous, right? Every time I say that not that it's dangerous, but I say that this football isn't real, I bet these players are like, it's real scary. It's real scary. Like, imagine if you're one of those dudes, so you're on the roster, right? You're going to make the team, but your contract isn't guaranteed. Like, they could cut you. They're just not going to do it unless you mess around out here and get hurt. Then what?
That is a scary, scary proposition.
Yeah, I feel like, Shannon, this is something that you and I have done on the radio a few times over time, but I don't feel like the current audience is familiar with this, which is I think we forget, like, how the most ordinary, mundane football thing is actually really, really terrifying, right? So, like, we think about the big hits and all that stuff like that, and there's that. But you know what football has a lot of? Just falling down. Like, imagine you out at the park or something like that, and you just fall down, like the turf monster messes around and gets you. Right. No, people are coming over to make sure that you're okay. Trip over something in your office and hit the ground. It'll be a prayer circle around you, okay?
Like, stub your toe.
Yeah. There's people, is everything okay? Dog. These cats out here, nobody cares anything about that at all.
They're running into each other on purpose.
Right. Like, only the big hits. Those are the only ones that we care about, right? Only the big hits. But if somebody just, makes you fly 2 yards backwards, no big deal. It's just, occupational hazard, right? Like, think about this from football. Because I feel like, once again, I just don't feel like we put these things in proper context. Like, I like to do this for you every now and then, especially with football. Because football, I enjoy football. I watch football. I'm not like one of those, arrogant intellectual types that tries to act like he's above it. I enjoy football. But, like I said before, if you imagine that take everything about football and then take it over somewhere in Africa and then send a National Geographic crew and have them report on the game, it'll totally change your perspective on it. So sometimes you just got to take yourself to another angle in order to fully appreciate what's going on in front of us. So with football, especially in preseason, right? How much would they have to pay you to return kicks in the preseason, Shannon?
Nah.
Like, I feel like special teams are the only place in the preseason that's actually realer than the regular season. Because I feel like everybody, if you are playing special teams, especially like in the third or fourth quarter, if you are playing special teams, the desperation that's all over the field when that happens, like, you can just smell it. Like, what do you have to do? You on the fourth quarter punt squad. What do you have to do to earn a job?
You're fighting. You're literally, figuratively, you're fighting.
Yes. Like, what do you have to do to earn a job if you're on the fourth quarter punt team, right? But just think about this for a second. And the telephone number is 888-729-3776, right? Just think about this for a second. Have you ever really stopped to think about what exactly is involved in returning a punt? So I want you to think about how often they got little people back there returning punts, right?
Right.
Those guys aren't very big. Those guys aren't very large. Little dudes, 5'9", 175 pounds. You got to return a punt. Okay. So what they're asking you to do, I want you to go stand about 50 yards over yonder. Just stand there. And then what? All right, so what I want you to do, there's going to be a football, and they're going to kick it to you. And all you got to do is kick it. And then once you get it, run as far as you can, right? Oh, okay. That didn't seem like so much. Yeah, the other thing, though, it's going to hang in the air for about 3, maybe 4 seconds. Okay. And the other thing, everybody's running at you. Like, everybody on the other team, except for the punter, they all running at you. So what I have to do is I have to stand for 4 seconds looking straight up in the air while 10 dudes run at me from 50 yards away. And then if I get the ball, I am expected not to run away from the people, but into the people. You are basically asking me to go the wrong way on a one-way street, talking about, don't worry, it's some other cars in front of you. What? Are you kidding me? Just really stop and think about that. I want you to go outside. You wouldn't even want to stand on the sidewalk and look straight. You know what? Do that. Go to Times Square and stand on the sidewalk and look straight in the air for 4 seconds. How long would it be before you got a concussion? Really? How long would it be? You got to be kidding me. And I'm supposed to do this in a game that doesn't count? When, as previously discussed, all the people who are coming at me are fighting for something larger than themselves, bigger than themselves? Because let me tell you what you got on the fourth quarter punt team in the preseason. You got a lot of dudes who don't know what they're going to do if this don't work out. Like,
there's no plan B.
Yeah. There's no plan B. There's a plan B, but we ain't going to talk about it on the radio. Like, this is it. I am fully invested in this. This is all. And you want me to go stand back there? Oh, I got you. You know what they would call me if I was a punt returner? FC. That ain't for Falcon Crest, baby. Fair catch. I'm just throwing these hands up in the sky. What is more important than getting yards on a punt return? Possession. I get you possession every time. Quit being greedy.
Got another injury update.
Oh, who we got?
Who was it this time, right? Saints cornerback Brandon Browner was carted off the field.
Cart? Ooh.
Lower leg.
Ooh, that's not good. I will say this for football players. Some football players need to, like, throw our whole matrix off and have them start bringing the cart just because they don't feel like walking. Because the cart is the signal, right? Like, I ain't no doctor, but the cart comes, we got a problem. We need to have, like, a dude who calls for the cart, like the Paul Pierce of the cart, the soccer player of the cart. Wheel off on the cart, come back 2 plays later. He just like to ride around.
The Right Time with Bomani Jones. Weeknights from 9 to 11 Eastern or on demand at ESPNradio.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Right Time. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening on ESPN Radio and the new ESPN app. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. Last segment, we talked a little bit about like the idea of being a punt returner, but Barry Randall with this great one. He says, I was a backup punt returner in college my freshman year. Had to go out right after seeing the starter get crushed. Soon as I heard the ball make contact with the punter's foot, the hand was waving. I caught the ball with 15 yards of open field. Coach cussed me out because I didn't, quote, give the play a chance, unquote. Next week I was moved to third team. Still too high in my book. Whew, man, I can't imagine being back there and trying to run back a kick. I was on the sideline I went to a small Division II school called Clark Atlanta University, right? And in 2005, I was on the sideline for their homecoming game. It's Division II, okay? Division II. Dog, them cats was out there getting rocked. Like, it reminds me of when my brother was little. My brother was thinking about playing football, and my mom had set it up for him to stand on the sideline at the same school at a football game, right? Mm-hmm. So he could watch. And so they stood on the sideline. They watched the whole game. Said they were walking home. My brother looked at my mom and said, I think I'm just going to be in the band. Like, that was all it took. That was all it took. Like, I feel like if they took more people to watch football up close and personal before they made the decision to play, we'd have a lot fewer people out here playing football. Like, not just out here, I'm going to go play football with my boys and I like it. Nah. Go stand out there and watch them other cats do this. That'll probably give you a whole different vantage point on the situation. Because I don't want none of it.
Nah, I'm good.
Nah, man. Like, whenever I hear about people playing semi-pro football, I don't love nothing that much. I don't love my mom that much. I don't love ice cream that much. I don't love nothing to be out here playing football for minimum wage. Like, just to do it? Nah, bruh. Like, maybe it'll get you back, right? Like, maybe if I've been in the league and I think it might get me back. But there was a dude, he was a teacher at the high school I went to. He's like an arena ball legend. His name, I think, is Clint Dolezal. I think he always comes up when people throw like a zillion touchdown passes, anything like that, right? And I remember somebody said something about he was a football player. I was like, oh, okay. Then I found it was Arena League. And apparently, he's the king of the Arena League. Shannon, I got that right?
Yep.
Can you check how many touchdown passes he had in the Arena League? I want to see how many more it is than I would have had if I was in his situation. Because I'd have just been teaching middle school.
931 touchdowns.
Yep, that's about 930 more than I would have had. Like, I'd have thrown that one touchdown. We could stop the game. I'd go kiss my girl, and then we out. Because let me tell you what I'd love. I'd love to see somebody do a documentary called The People You Meet Playing Arena League Football. Like, imagine the stories you got of the dudes that come in and out of the door on an Arena League football team. Because, look. If you are good enough to play in the NFL, generally speaking, you're going to play in the NFL. Like, you might not play for long, but generally speaking, you're going to get a chance to play in the NFL. That being said, there are some dudes who are so crazy that they just can't play in the NFL. Like, Shannon, your man, Manos de Piedras. Dude that, hit Gino in the jaw. Like, if he were to punt somebody else in the jaw, chances are he's not going to be on another team.
Right.
So you know what he'll be? The wrong dude to mess with in the arena locker room. He'd be the king. He'd have the dudes on the basketball team scared. You know, like hypothetically speaking, if there was like an Arena League team in Houston and they played at the Toyota Center, James Harden be scared to death every time that dude walked in there. Every time. And so, like, there's a lot of these cats out here right now playing these preseason football games, and they're like, here's what they're saying every day when they go out on the field. Dog, I can't go back. Go back where, man? I can't go back. I can't go back.
I can't do it.
I can't go back. You don't know if he's talking about his apartment complex, his mama's house, any of it. He just can't go back. Can't go back. And if you've ever been around people who just can't go back, Shannon, you know some people who just can't go back.
Right.
Let me tell you what they're not about to do. Go back. Like, whatever it takes, they're not going back. That's all it is. Like, I'm looking at Johnny Football on this run, and it was a really good run, and he was untouched. Let me tell you, if one of them can't go back, cats was out there with him, Johnny Manziel is getting caught. Because that can't go back. Can't go home. Can't do it. The dude that's out there on senior day by himself. I can't go back. I can't go back. Like, my mama couldn't get the day off of work to come to senior day. I can't go home. I can't go back.
That's what it is.
I don't have a room in my house anymore. Like, you think about, I think that gets forgotten a lot of times too. These cats go play college football or whatever. Like, if you grew up in a world where your mama and your daddy own a house and they've been in that house forever, you got a room in that house forever, right? Some people, they only had a 2-bedroom apartment because it was 2 people living in there, right? Now it's time to cut some of these costs. Now you can't go home. You ain't got no room. Your bed, sold. Been sold. Long gone. Long gone. What's it going to do? Pay for storage?
You ain't gonna mess up my couch either.
No, sirree, Bob. You just not allowed to be here.
I just paid that thing off. You're not about to sleep on my couch every night.
Not about to be here. I was thinking this about preseason football, though, by the way. Yeah, we'll get to that Brady thing later. I just figured we just keep having fun here with preseason football. How many, like, memorable plays can you think of from a preseason football game? Like, something you actually remember. The only one I got, Shannon, is probably one that you would have listed. That crazy catch Victor Cruz made that year, the year he didn't make the team. Because didn't he make the team the year after he made that crazy catch?
It was a preseason against, the Jets, I believe.
I think so. And he made that crazy catch like over somebody's back or something like that. Does anybody have a preseason play they remember other than that doesn't involve a catastrophic injury? Because as someone who used to root for the Falcons, there's only one Atlanta Falcons preseason play I remember. That time Adelius Thomas broke Michael Vick's leg. Let me tell you something. For those of you who don't remember when that happened.
It was Cruz against the Jets, too. It
was? Okay. I've never, like, it's very rare that something happens and you're just like, okay, well, that's the season right there. Right there. Like, there was time to maybe something, no, man, Michael Vick was down on the ground with a broken leg. I was like, oh, well, that's a wrap. I think I watched one game before Vick came back that year. I was like, oh, well, that's enough. That fake football was real. It was very, very
I was so
real.
disappointed, too, because the Falcons had the new uniforms, too.
Yes.
They were in the all black. It was a new thing, a new era.
Yep.
You had Vic on the cover of Madden.
Remember, they switched off the old black uniforms, and then they came back that year in the red. No, it's right. It was the black ones. Then they went to the red ones. You're right. They went to the black joints. Man, Vic got hurt. There had never been a reason to have a single bit of optimism as a Falcons fan ever. Ever. And then we had Michael Vick. And then we didn't have Michael Vick. The preseason, the only thing you remember is the miserable stuff.
Geico presents Strange Savings Stories. Astronomers detected an interstellar transmission. It stated, Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. The implications were staggering. Was the cosmos telling us we could all save hundreds on car insurance with Geico? Or did their radar merely pick up a signal from the nearby Rufus and Clyde's morning show? We may never know.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Right Time. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening on ESPN Radio and the new ESPN app. All guests join us on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline, though I have to admit it's a little bit of a misnomer for me to say that, Shannon, when, we ain't got no guests today.
Well, it's preseason for us, too.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, it's not even, like, not getting the guests is one thing. We can live with that. Because, Shannon, we used to do shows with no guests all the time. Like, it's not a big thing. People weren't even calling us back. Like, everybody was on a plane. We had 2 people who were on cross-country flights. Michael Smith told me he busy. What you doing, man? You got a wife and kids. He busy. Buster Olney, he ain't give us no reply. Who else didn't hit us back? Dave Rothenberg. We couldn't even get Dave Rothenberg to come on. He had a Van Halen concert. It's 2015, Dave. We used to work with Dave. We know Dave from Raleigh. We couldn't get anybody to come on. So anyway, you're going to get more me than you can stand.
I wonder if that has anything to do with the return of football tonight. Yeah.
You know what? If Michael Smith blew me off to watch preseason football, bro, we're done. Like it's over for us. If he told me one day, he's like, yeah, man, you know, I'll never do anything, man. So if you need anything, just let me know. I've done that twice now and got I'm busy. Anyway, 888-729-3776 is the telephone number. We got preseason football. There were questions tonight about whether or not Tom Brady was going to play in the preseason game. You know, he had to go to court. And I'm just saying, if Kobe could go to court and play, why couldn't Tom Brady? Tom Brady is fighting for a quarter of a season. Kobe was fighting for his life, coming back and killing it. Tom Brady was going to play. And then, you know, there's that other reason that Tom Brady was going to play. He isn't trying to let Jimmy Garoppolo get any closer to the number ones than is absolutely necessary. Like, everybody banged on that lady, the sketch artist from the courtroom, which, by the way, the sketch artist in the courtroom, is that not like the human element of baseball with the umpires? Like, sure, we could probably get a computer to do this, but we like having umpires, right? They gotta add to the thing. Because the sketch artist, I got a phone in my camera, and she out there drawing pictures? Anyway, she drew that picture of Tom Brady. She got out of hell for how bad Tom Brady looked. How do you know Tom Brady wasn't in there looking like a man who's afraid he might lose his job? Because, look, those 4 games could turn into 16. Real easy. Real easy. You thought Tom Brady wasn't going to be out there with the number ones? Psh. Shannon, I think NFL Films or somebody?
Exclusive.
Yeah, we got some audio of Tom Brady on the sideline before he went on the field.
You want my spot flash? Huh? Well, you ain't gonna get it, because you ain't got it.
Yep, that's pretty much what he's telling Jimmy Garoppolo. Hit that one more time if you don't mind. I think Jimmy need to hear it one more time.
You want my spot flash? Huh? Well, you ain't gonna get it, because you ain't got it.
Yep, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much how that one right there has got to go.
No matter what my situation is right now, you are not taking my job.
Man, I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Brady was trying to be out there on that Landry Jones and play all 4 quarters. Like, you're not getting anywhere near it. Near it. Oh, by the way, before I forget, Shannon, would you like to know what the score is of the Patriots and the Packers game?
I'm interested.
15-11.
I'm confused.
What did I tell y'all?
I can't figure this stuff out, man.
What did I tell y'all? Once they started to play games with the extra point, man, it's going to be real hard to figure out what happened in games just by checking the score. Oh, by the way, Jimmy Garoppolo, 5 for 13, 63 yards. 5 for 13, 63 yards.
We're going to start referring to Jimmy Garoppolo as Flash.
Yeah. People are going to think it's some sort of ironic nickname, but in fact, no. Actually, it's quite ironic. We are comparing Jimmy Garoppolo to a character from the 5 Heartbeats. He's not actually he's kind of a heartbeat, right? It's like the 5 Heartbeats and a pulse. Flash is kind of like the pulse.
They put an album out.
Yeah, he did put out an album. That's right. Flash did put out an album. You're absolutely correct. But Garoppolo need to come out here and ball. I also imagine, I didn't hear it or see it or anything, but I imagine that Tom Brady probably got a rousing ovation when he came out there to play the fake football. That's probably the biggest reason why he wanted to come out there. Just to get those. He's become a martyr. Like, they're wearing the Free Brady shirts and everything else. Like, he has become a martyr to the tyranny of Roger Goodell. Like, it really took this for some of these people to really get, like, the Roger Goodell thing. So that's where Tom Brady is right now. Can I tell you something else about Tom Brady that I think is being lost? You guys know there's no guarantee that Tom Brady's going to be good this year, right? Like, I feel like this part hasn't been discussed. So let me be honest with everyone. Let me square up with you. Let me make sure you understand where I'm coming from, because I'm not the sort of guy who hides from these things. I was one of the people who said after the fourth game of last season that Tom Brady was done. Then they won the Super Bowl, which you would think would make me say I was absolutely wrong. And the answer there is I was wrong in a way. Not so much absolutely wrong, but I was wrong in a way. Now, the way that I was wrong is this. Tom Brady isn't going to make a lot of mistakes. Like, no matter what happens, Tom Brady is not going to make a lot of mistakes. So he's 33 touchdowns and 9 interceptions last year. He's not going to make those mistakes for you. But, Shannon, that arm isn't what it was. That arm deep isn't what it was. They do that dink and dunk, and I couldn't believe they dinked and dunked their way to a Super Bowl. Like, I really could not believe that they did that. I still say, like, if you want to point to a guy as to why they won that Super Bowl, he now plays for the Jets. Because Revis was the game changer. Like, their pass defense turned into something completely different when they got Revis, and that was the game changer. But Brady, I'm still not there with this. Like, I'm still not. Like, the Brady you had 3-4 years ago, that isn't the guy that you have right now. It just sounds crazy because I'm saying this about a dude who had 33 touchdowns and 9 interceptions last year. Like, I understand how absurd it may sound to you. I'm not ignoring that part. But with everything that's going and everything that's swirling, hey, man, don't let Jimmy get out here and ball. Like, that's the last thing Tom Brady needs is for Jimmy to get out here and ball. Jimmy ain't out here balling, Shannon.
Yeah, if you're Brady, you'll take that.
By the way, how tempted do you think Jimmy Garoppolo has been to snitch? I might snitch. If I'm him, I might snitch. You wouldn't snitch on somebody you barely know to get a job like that?
Like, I don't really know him like that anyway.
Yeah, I'm not so big on snitching on my friends. Like, I feel like that's a violation of all kinds of codes and tenets. But snitching on Tom Brady, like, we're not partners.
I mean, he's married to my cousin. I mean, we hung like maybe one time, but
yeah, I mean, I know him,
but I don't know him.
Like, they work together. They two dudes who work in the same office.
We're not even friends. We're more like colleagues.
If even that, right? If even that, like what
associates.
You think Jimmy Garoppolo in this training camp has asked Tom Brady any questions to help him get more familiar with the offense? Like, how does Tom Brady respond to that? Jimmy Garoppolo's like, hey, Tom, I was just wondering, man, where does Edelman like the ball? Right? Like, where does he like to catch it? I'm just trying to get the ball where he needs it. What do you think? Wow. Shannon, apparently halftime in Chicago, by the way, is dogs playing catch.
Well, all right.
I'm fascinated by that.
It's real football.
I'd like to know how that's happening. Like, so are the dogs throwing something to each other, or are they just like catching it like it's like a frisbee?
It was a frisbee.
It's like, oh, they're catching frisbee. They're just catching frisbee. I thought a dog was throwing a frisbee. Now that's more interesting.
The Right Time with Bomani Jones. Weeknights from 9 to 11 Eastern or on demand at ESPNradio.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Right Time. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening on ESPN Radio and the new ESPN app. All guests join us on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline, even though we ain't got no guests tonight. 888-729-3776. Let's hit the phones and talk to Nasser in North Carolina. Nasser, thanks for calling The Right Time.
Hey, Bomani, man.
How are you?
Hello? Good, man. Hey, special shout-out to my man Shannon Penn doing some nice work on the national circuit. I see you, my friend.
I try to do it for the people. Thank you.
You're doing well. You're doing well. Now, you were talking about these injuries in the preseason. I would like to bring you a little bit of comic relief. I'm a Redskins fan, so we have to have very thick senses of humor. Now, I was out. I was working. I wait tables. I got a text from my buddy. He's like, preseason games have started. Football is back. First thing I text him, sweet. Did RG3 get hurt? Next thing I hear, no, but... Now, we like to play this game as Redskins fans. When things go bad, we say things like, at least we didn't draft Heath Schuler, things that are awful and completely true, but we act like are not true. So I found out about Niles Paul with his gruesome injury, and I said, well, at least the other tight ends on the roster are not a guy who's always hurt and a guy who can't catch. I'll let you run with the game.
Hey, do they still have Fred Davis, Esquire? Does he still play for them?
Fred Davis is spending some time with Johnny Law, not exactly in the football sense.
Oh, got it. Sorry, I knew he had some things going on. My bad. But no, sir, I appreciate the call. Got to be hard rooting for that terrible franchise with the racist name. Like, you losing all the way around. You look bad even just saying their name. It's a terrible situation. 888-729-3776 is the telephone number. Speaking of terrible situation, Shannon, have you ever heard of Tim Coleman?
I can't say that I have.
All right, Tim Coleman is a former junior welterweight contender. And I am at badlefthook.com, which is an SB Nation blog on boxing. So here's what happened, apparently, okay? A woman, an elderly woman, she was 84 years old. She was killed in her home, and her credit cards, her purse, her jewelry, her cash, all that stuff was stolen from her. And the prosecutor says that a woman named Margarita Balandova, who is Tim Coleman's wife. That is who the police squared in on, right? That's who they thought had done it. Apparently, they said her fingerprints were all over the place, and she tried to blow up the house and it didn't work, whatever. Okay. So the police come, and they talk to Tim Coleman, and they ask him about his wife, and he says, look, man, she left the house early. She left alone. She came back with no shoes and blood on her clothes. And then my man said that he told the police that she told him when she got back that she had killed somebody, and then he took her clothes and he went and burned them. Now, what then happened was Ms. Balandova then blamed her husband for the murder, saying that she walked through the house because she was looking for him. He is now in jail under suspicion of murder. Shannon, what you think?
How are they going to place him at the house, the scene of the crime?
I don't have a great answer for that, my brother. I'm just telling you. He told the cops that she did all this stuff. Now he's in jail. Now, look. By the way, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. He's not in jail on this murder. He's in jail on a separate charge of vandalism. Felony vandalism, by the way. I did not know you could get a felony vandalism charge. Like, what did he spray paint, the win? Like, I had no idea you get a felony vandalism charge. But listen to how they met. And I need you to tell me, Shannon, what outcome you thought would happen from a couple who met like this. Because this gentleman put the following post on his Facebook page one day. And this is about when he met his wife. I remember the first time I saw her. I was just getting up from a hangover at 6 p.m. and some drunk girl pushed open my door. I jumped up to kick her out, but when I got close to her, I could not stop gazing into her eyes. I had the biggest smile on my face.
Sounds like they're meant for each other. Wait a minute, he's getting over a hangover at 6 o'clock in the evening?
Yes, and like he thinks somebody's there to break into his spot, except he gets so lost in her eyes. Like, is that her burglary strategy?
Was she Medusa and he just froze?
You know what this reminds me of? You remember that time your man Dirk had met that one woman? You remember that? The woman who turned out to be a bit of a con artist?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't she try to get Tony Banks, which I think was probably the most random part of that story, that Tony Banks was on her list?
Yep.
So do you remember how they met? She told Dirk, well, basically, this is how it went. Dirk Nowitzki answers his phone, and it's a wrong number. The woman on the other end of the line, says, I'm sorry, this is a wrong number. I was trying to call my brother. Anyway, what's your name? I'm Dirk Nowitzki of the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, that's right.
What are the odds? What are the odds, right? I was trying to call my brother, and instead, I, the con artist, stumbled upon the mother lode. Whose luck is that good? Seriously, whose luck is that good.
I was trying to call my brother, but you sound like you make a lot of money. What's your name?
Well, in the 21st century, by the way, your brother's name isn't saved in your phone. Like, you actually tap the number out. But, hey, it almost worked. Like, she got on down the line with it. She almost made it work. But I feel like sometimes when you tell the story of how you met, it lets everybody know where everything is going down the line. And this dude, who now may have caught a murder rap on the basis of a woman he met when he was drunk at the house and somebody just walked in, and rather than calling the cops or, you know, reaching for his firearm as people often do in situations like those, nope, he fell in love.
Maybe he was drunk in love.
Yeah, like, I feel like I personally.
Sorry for that. That was cheesy, but I had to.
Yeah, we be all night. I feel like I'm a fairly, like, loving person, right? It may not come across on the radio necessarily because I don't, like, give a damn about y'all, but, like, the people I actually know, Shannon, you see me around children, I'm gentle and warm, right?
Yeah, Bomani loves the kids.
I love the kids, you know, but sometimes I like their parents. Like, not all the time, but occasionally. So, like, I feel like I'm a loving person. I don't feel like I can fall in love with somebody that's up in my house, and I don't know why. Like, my mind, I'm not able to do that many things at one time. Like, that's walking and chewing gum for me. Either I'm going to fall down or I'm going to choke to death. There's no way in the world that I'm going to be able to fall in love with you when you're in my crib and you're not supposed to be. Especially not through no hangover. Like, that must have been some powerful love to go through a hangover. I don't know about you. I haven't had a hangover in quite a long time, but the only thing I felt love for was medication. Advil.
Dark rooms.
Yeah, dude, Advil tastes like a Snickers bar when you got the hangover. But yeah, be careful, folks. Like, how you meet people. Like, I'm trying to think of the strangest way that I met somebody that I was willing to kick it with them, and it was nothing close to that. Like, it never, ever, that sort of thing. Not that. Boxers, by the way, they sure know how to pick them. And I guess it's not all their fault. I mean, boxers just wind up in a strange world. But it is very rare that we hear a story about a boxer's wife, and we're like, yeah, he's a movement by himself, but they're a force when they're together. No, it's a whole lot of boxers giving up half that support. Antonio Tarver got that horrible situation. Not Antonio Tarver, it's Jermaine Taylor. One of them owe that woman all the money in the world. I've been mixing up Antonio Tarver and Jermaine Taylor for the last 15 years, by the way. I can never keep these cats straight.
And now, for Geico's edition of Stuff Found in Your Car, we go inside your side door pocket.
Hello, yes, the crumpled receipt with gum in it. From your anniversary dinner, you sprang for expensive wine. Your server was Beth. That dinner was a couple $100. Money you could get back if you switched to Geico and saved hundreds of dollars on your car insurance. I bet you'd save that receipt. Frame it even. But really, where did I go wrong? Was it the corkage fee?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening on ESPN Radio and the new ESPN app. We're presented by Progressive Insurance and not all guests. You can send me a tweet at the 1-800-Flowers.com Twitter feed. That is at Bomani_Jones. It's fake football on, Shannon. Let me tell you the madness somebody just hit me up with on Twitter. And it's just one person, but I know he's not the only one that feels this way. He tells me Robert Griffin went 4 for 8. Kirk Cousins is 9 for 9. How long before Gruden convinces somebody to trade Robert Griffin? They might convince somebody to trade Robert Griffin, but it ain't going to be so Kirk Cousins can play. Like, haven't we done that already? People, they don't really do it with Colt McCoy. It's Kirk Cousins. I guess they have, there's more potential, I guess, with Cousins because he had a couple of good games that one time, and we've seen McCoy as a starter. But there are people who still keep trying to wish this Kirk Cousins thing into existence. You remember when Cousins got that starting job after Griffin got hurt, and the Washington Post did the whole spread on him about how he'd finally gotten his time and what a big thing was, and what happened when he played. He stunk. He outright stunk. Like, if it's a 3-step drop and he can't throw the ball as soon as that third step comes, he's got nothing. If it's a 5-step drop and he can't throw it on the 5, he's got nothing. Like, we saw that over and over and over again. Griffin, from what I can tell, was actually not so bad in this game. Shannon, you see that pass that Pierre Garçon dropped behind the coverage?
Beautiful pass from Robert.
Yeah, it's right there, 65 yards, and he went Featherstone on it. He just went outright Featherstone on it. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. If you want Robert Griffin to not start for Washington, hey, I don't really blame you. I can understand your skepticism. But if you look at Kirk Cousins and say, that's the guy that I want to go into game, that's your own damn fault. Like, you are stupid. There's no other way to put that. Best case scenario in that situation is that you're stupid. Like, that's the nicest thing I can say about you. Or presume, shall we say. All right, 888-729-3776 is the telephone number. Shannon, we talked about this already. Not all of it, but, Manos de Piedras got signed by the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Rex Ryan has quite an interesting collection of characters he seems to be amassing over there, doesn't he? They got Richie.
Should make for an interesting locker room.
Look, they got Richie Incognito. They got Manos de Piedras. They've got Percy Harvin. They have an offensive line coach who, was accused of beating up teenagers. They got anybody else I'm not thinking about? Like, am I missing anybody? Like, Shannon, what'd you say that team would be? Like, what Rex Ryan is doing?
Oh, he's putting together.
It's the Survivor Series!
I mean, those four guys, I think that'd be a pretty impressive team on the Survivor Series. And you're probably thinking, Percy Harvin, he's too small to compete in the Survivor Series. Dude, let me tell you something about Percy Harvin, okay? We have all read the legends and fables of Percy Harvin. We've heard the stories about Percy Harvin. And Percy Harvin adheres very closely to an axiom that I think you can take with you all the way to the grave, okay? If a dude is in the NFL and he's shorter than 5'10", you want no parts of him. Shannon, you know how scared I would be to fight Darren Sproles?
I can only imagine.
Dude, it would be like playing against Odd Job on GoldenEye, bruh. Like, what could you do? I would be so afraid to fight Darren Sproles. You know why? Because Darren Sproles, all my life, I've had to fight. I had a guy call a radio show I did once, and he was absolutely right about this. He said being short is a constant fight for credibility. Now imagine being in that constant fight for credibility in a place with all that violence. Right. Good luck with that one, folks. Like, great luck with that one. Anyway, we ask people on Highly Questionable, and when I do the radio show with Dan, we do it too. If there's anybody who's been around Percy Harvin, we'd ask for a good Percy Harvin question. The way that guys react to us asking about Percy Harvin was very similar to when Dan, not me, Dan asked Andre Ward, the boxer, questions about his manager, Jay Prince, the owner of Rap-A-Lot Records. Ain't nobody saying nothing. Joe Hayden was like, man, what y'all trying to get me into, bro? What y'all trying to get me into? Nobody wants to say a word about Percy Harvin. Remember, the allegation is that Percy Harvin beat up the wide receivers coach at Florida and nobody did anything about it. Which, as we discussed previously, means that Percy Harvin was the wide receivers coach at Florida. Like, the only person that can beat somebody up with no consequences is the coach. You know, like when you beat up your position coach, you're now the position coach. It's like drumline. It's like challenging somebody for their position. I'm a P2 and I want to be a P1. Come out here and play that bass drum. That's the same thing. What am I supposed to tell you in practice after you've beaten me up and nothing happened? Like, where is my authority?
I guess you got the juice now, dog.
You got the juice. That's it. You got the juice. And with Percy Harvin, everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. He's from around your way, isn't he, Shannon? Isn't he a 757?
Yeah, Virginia Beach. Absolutely. Yeah, and he was talking openly, I think it was last week, I want to say, on First Take, about an altercation that he had with Doug Baldwin.
Really? He died oh, that's right. He hit it. Was that before the Super Bowl? I thought he died. Was it Golden Tate? I thought he died it before the Super Bowl.
Nah, he was talking about Baldwin. Because remember, Tate was gone.
Right.
Oh, that's like that was the Super Bowl 2 years. Wow.
Yeah, Super Bowl 2. You remember? Because didn't Golden Tate have a little bit of a shiner in the picture?
But he was talking about Baldwin from last year. Then they traded.
Oh, another one. He had another one. Yeah. So Percy Harvin, Manos de Piedras. We're going to bring the assistant coach in to be on the Survivor Series team. And Richie Incognito. And Richie Incognito would be perfect for the Survivor Series element of this because he's the heel. He plays to the crowd.
And he's
he
the
does
team
all
captain.
the dirty things.
He would be the captain. He would be the captain of that
Yes.
Survivor Series team.
He keeps foreign objects in his trunks. Like, that's who he would be. He's the guy that comes out from under the ring with something. That's who he is. It's right there. They're going to be so much fun this year. Like, I'm kind of glad, I live in a city in the division with them. So it'll be a couple of games, a couple games a year with them. That'll be local things or whatever. Because they could be good, except their quarterback situation is boo-boo. They got Matt Castle. Like, I don't even think we need to mention E.J. Manuel anymore, right? Once you're in your third year and you've been a first-round pick and we're no longer talking about your potential, okay, you're a backup quarterback now.
He has all the measurables. He's a good kid.
You know what it is, man? It's the measurables, but the good kid part is past the good kid. What people tell me about EJ is if he walks into a room, he's going to look you square in the eye. He's going to shake your hand. Like, all the leadership stuff about a quarterback, he's got it. And then after that, you're like, well, he's a big guy. And you know what every coach thinks? I can fix him. Or every GM thinks, we can fix him. Shannon, we've watched a lot of E.J. Manuel football. Like, I feel bad the way that people dog E.J. Manuel because all he's doing is what he's always done. Like, if you didn't want E.J. Manuel to go out there and do what E.J. Manuel has done in the NFL, I don't understand why it is that you drafted him.
I'm sure he was shocked just as much as we were.
I laughed. I sat in my house and I laughed from my belly. I couldn't believe somebody was taking him with a first-round pick. And then Rex just signed up for it, and I don't know when they're ever going to get a better quarterback. Ever. Like, people talk about Robert Griffin being bad. If Robert Griffin hit the street today, how fast would Rex Ryan drive down to pick him up? Rex Ryan would go pick him up in a helicopter like it was Brett Favre. He'd be like Chili, going to pick him up in the Escalade.
The Right Time with Bomani Jones. Weeknights from 9 to 11 Eastern or on demand at ESPNradio.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Right Time. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening on ESPN Radio and the new ESPN app. We are presented by Progressive Insurance, and the telephone number is 888-729-3776. Let's hit the phones to talk to Kenny in North Carolina. Kenny, thanks for calling The Right Time.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Doing all right.
I just want to let you know, my daughter, she's 17 years old. I showed her your picture on the internet. She said, oh, he's a very cute young man.
Well, tell her I said thank you.
And I also called to ask about the Carolina Panthers. Do you think they're going to make it to the playoffs again this year?
Well, I tell you this, and I appreciate the call. I mean, I think there's a good chance they can make the playoffs because somebody has to out of that division, right? Somebody has to. The one thing, though, is I think what the Panthers do this year is going to depend a lot about how quickly Devin Funchess gets up to speed. And we had John Jones of the Charlotte Observer on the other day and asked about Devin Funchess, and he said, I really haven't noticed him. Shannon, that's not good.
That's not what you want, taking a guy high second-round pick. No.
You're still confused about something else, aren't you?
Why did that dude just tell you his 17-year-old daughter thought you were cute?
I thought that was very nice of him. That was nice of him.
No, sure it was, but nah.
I mean,
I'm sure, yeah.
I hang out with your daughter. I mean,
yeah,
she's
okay.
6, but that's,
No.
I wish people could see your face right now. You're so dumbfounded by the turn of events. 888-729-3776. Let's take one more call. Talk to Randy in Texas. Randy, thanks for calling The Right Time.
What's up, Bomani? Mighty ESPN Radio. What's going down, man?
Doing all right, man.
Hey, Bomani, I got two things to say, man. And this is what I'm saying carefully. Bomani, Robert Griffin, right? They need to get rid of Cousins and just let this man just play the game and be easy without watching over his back. And can I ask you a question? What has Jay Gruden ever done in this league for us to warrant and give this guy so much praise because of his brother's name? And another thing I want to say, one more thing. Answer all these questions for me. And I've been watching football since the 70s, right? The black quarterback has always brought.
Oh, man, the phone cut out on you right there. I swear to goodness, it was the phone. It was the phone. It was the phone. I will say this for Jay Gruden, though, and I think this does get kind of lost in it. I don't think people really heap that much praise upon Jay Gruden. But in fairness to him, under Jay Gruden's tutelage, Andy Dalton threw 33 touchdown passes in a season. 33. 27 the year before. I mean, seeing how it's Andy Dalton, somebody's got to get the credit for it, right? Or Shannon, is that AJ Green?
Andy Dalton is a really good regular season quarterback.
No, he is not even a regular season quarterback. He's a really good quarterback against bad teams. Like, everybody talks about how he struggles in prime time. The thing about prime time is you're more likely to play against a good team. Like, he struggles playing against good teams. That seems to be his biggest issue. He's just a dude. But, I mean, Gruden was able to get something out of him. The reason I said that the R's, because I don't say that word, should not have hired Gruden was that a quarterback like Andy Dalton is the kind of quarterback that he likes. And that's, I mean, no. That's never what you want. 888-729-3776 is the telephone number. Shannon LeBron said that it's time for Tristan Thompson to get his money.
He's right.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what the Cavaliers are doing, and I don't blame them for the strategy that they're taking with this. But I kind of feel like they're putting up a fight right now on this just to say that they're putting up a fight because they just can't make it look like LeBron got all the juice, right? And to be fair, LeBron is trying to give them some plausible deniability. It's like, Tristan and the Cavs have to get it worked out themselves and and everything else. But here's the quote from LeBron. Things need to be worked out from his side and the Cavs, but we need him back. I think our front office has done a great job this summer. The next step is to get Tristan done. That sound like Tristan Thompson getting a max deal to you?
If LeBron says so.
I mean, that sounds like it to me. Like, the Cavs, it's going to cost them so much to get Tristan Thompson. But listen to this one. Our number one objective right now is to sign Tristan. He is a huge part of our team. Short term and long term, he makes our team more dangerous. You notice he said our number one objective right now is to sign Tristan. Like he the Cavs. Like he tried to turn it over later, and be like, well, he needs to work it out from his side and the Cavs side. Homie, ain't no the Cavs now. You just said our.
Yeah, we'll sit down with Tristan and his representation, and we'll get something figured out that's best for both parties.
Why don't they just go ahead and give him his money? Like, I think it's gone on long enough, don't you? Like, I remember once when I was in college, we had stole a dude's mattress from him. We took his mattress. And we were going to give it back to him.
Huh? You stole his mattress?
Yeah, we stole his mattress. The guy's roommate to let us in, and we stole his mattress. We were going to give it back until he started acting like a sucker about it. And he was threatening to, like, talk to the dorm director or something like that. So then he really wasn't getting his mattress back. And then his mom called, and his roommate was my buddy. And my buddy picked up the phone and said, no, he's not here. And she asked if his mattress had turned up. And my buddy said, no. And his mom said, isn't it time for the game to be over? Like, that's how I feel about this with the Cavs. Like, isn't it time for the game to be over? We know what you guys are going to do. You're going to have to give them the money. It's going to really sting at first, but you're going to have to give them the money. So just go ahead and give them the money. Why not?
The question is, where do they get the money?
Dan Gilbert's pocket. He got it. He got here building casinos. He got here rebuilding Detroit. He got all the money. All the money. Hey, look, man. We all understand this. This is just how things go. Once you get money, sometimes you got to pay a little bit extra for stuff just because you got it. Like, as everybody knows you have it. Sometimes you got to pay just a little bit extra. And that's what he's going to have to do. They're going to put up this fight. This is fantastic. But I really feel like this is Dan Gilbert. Like, he's not going to tell me what to do. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. And look, none of us are judging you for the fact that LeBron is telling you what to do, Dan Gilbert. We're enjoying it. Every time I get the feeling that LeBron is twisting the knife on Dan Gilbert, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Because honestly, it's the thing that allows me to maintain respect for LeBron after he went back to work for that man again. I really don't care about LeBron not playing in Cleveland anymore. LeBron cashing Dan Gilbert's checks. Me and my dad had to have a long talk about that one. We were like, man, are we good with this?
And they were printed in Comic Sans, right?
Probably so. Probably so. The signature's probably a Comic Sans. But that was, every time he twists a knife on Dan Gilbert, I just love the idea. Look, LeBron is a trophy to Dan Gilbert. Dan Gilbert has clearly demonstrated that he has no respect for LeBron as a man. He wouldn't have written that letter and done all that stuff if he respected LeBron as a man. He doesn't. He's a commodity to LeBron.
He's an asset.
Yeah, he's an asset. He's a trophy. He's basically the trophy wife. He makes Dan conquering hero in Cleveland for bringing LeBron back and all of that. He's just a trophy. And LeBron is acting like a trophy wife and just spending all his money. He got his homeboys' jobs. His partner's back running around the arena and everything else. He's living that trophy life and just blowing Dan Gilbert's money. And I'm totally here for it.
Damon Jones is back.
Damon Jones is back. Exactly. And Tristan Thompson, look, I'm going to get this bread. Because if they tell LeBron that Tristan Thompson signed the qualifying offer and he's leaving at the end of the year, because you're not going to, because of their tax situation, it's not like you can just replace Tristan Thompson with somebody comparable for $6.8 million a year under the next cap. Whoo, they're going to be salty. Salty Dan Gilbert, always here for. Always.